Welcome to the Monday edition of At the Bench with me. Let me turn this down. I don't want to get a strike against me. What I'm doing today is working on a project that I've been working on for almost a year now. And it's an airplane that I owe somebody. And, well, matter of fact, it's been over a year. So, we're going to get this underway. It's a classic Continental. I've got 2 coats of dope on the wing. It's almost ready to be covered and sanded. Interesting here. What happened? We got a bump. I have to sand that out. I'm going to put the fuselage together today and get it ready. I'd like to have this all framed up by the end of the week. So, first thing you have to do is you're going to need to build a crutch. And how I do that is I cut my lengths of motor mount to the right length, and I more or less kind of ground the end down to fit the airfoil. You always want this to be resting on top of the wing, like so. Anyway, I've marked out where the bulkheads go, and we're going to glue this together. Let me get a couple clamps here. I can't really do too much more doping because I don't have any more dope, but I put the order in today. God, paint is expensive. 1 gallon of clear, 1 gallon of thinner is $100. So we mixed up some epoxy here. Better get some wax paper to set this on too. We certainly don't want to glue it to the bench. Okay. Let's wipe this off so we don't have too much glue on it. Well, I'll put it on, put it together, and then wipe it off. So, okay. I just take a square and square up the ends. So it's kind of want to keep everything as square as possible when you're building these. Another thing I noticed is that I think the reason why my channel is not getting as many views as some channels is I put it in the wrong category. So we're trying out the people and blogs category. Now we'll see what happens. Seems like not too many people are into educational stuff. Because I noticed one of the members here put a video out discussing the same things I'm doing, and his channel is not as big as mine. And that video had more views. So we'll try this out. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share my channel. If you're interested in control line or considering control line, go to stunhanger.com. There's a bunch of guys there that'll be more than happy to help you with anything. Remember, control line guys got a handle on it. So we'll wait 5 minutes for that to dry, and we'll discuss what I've been doing here. Make sure this fits. Tight, but it fits. As I've stated, I got, let me turn this up here. We'll do it with the software here. There it is. Okay. Nobody's watching, so not a big need to talk. I got the fillets on this airplane now. I got to do the underside of the wing, and then we're done with fillets on that, and we can go to painting. But I'm going to save this painting until I get that airplane done, and I have some more airplanes to paint. We're just going to go painting for a while. So I'm not gonna get to my painting project on this for, I don't know, probably a month. But I wanted to get the woodwork done. Got a bubble in this fillet. Sand it out and put some more superfill on it. Anyway, this turned out pretty light. 27.5 ounces the way it sits. It's got 4 coats of dope on it. The only thing it's missing is the glass on the nose. Yesterday I put out a video on this cowl. I made this cowl up, and all I got to do is cut the holes for the exhaust and the intake. It's hollowed. It ended up 3/4 of an ounce, and by the time I cut those other pieces out, it'll be down to a 1/2 ounce. And if you remember, I told you that I want to get that down to a 1/4 ounce. And how that I'm going to be able to do that is once I fiberglass that cowl, we'll sand all the wood out of it. So that'll help. So this is almost dry. Got a little 5 minutes. So the next thing to make a nice crutch is I like to put aluminum pads on it. Not necessarily necessary, but if you build an airplane that's going to last several years, you want to give it every advantage you can. So we put aluminum plates on top here. Make sure you can see that. And of course I'm going to need a way to secure them. I just go to the store and buy the number 4 screws. Sure like my new shop with all the pegboard. I need some more drawers. But that's not a big deal. We'll get them. So let's turn this camera down just a smidge. See how that looks so you can see what's going on. Yeah, it's better. And we got sound, I see. I probably should turn up the sound. Anyway, we're going to put aluminum pads on this. Make sure the motor fits, which I know it does, but and it's got a little slop in it. What I mean by a little, it's several thousandths, not an 1/8 of an inch. Still not quite dry. Come on. I have a piece of sandpaper on the glass here. Now, some guys take and notch these motor mounts about every 1/4 inch. They take it, put a saw notch in it, maybe 32nd inch deep. You can do that. I don't. If you're worried about glue sticking. Let's see what we got going here. Make sure this is all going to work. I think in order to best do this, I'm going to cut some blocks real quick. Some balsa blocks. That are that long. So we're going to put the filler blocks in first and then run the motor mounts up to it. So I got to cut this off where every time I use that saw, I think about, God, I hope I don't cut my finger off. So we need two, just like that. So I got two blocks that this will index the fuselage. Remember, we're not building watches, we're just building model airplanes, and if it's within a few thousand, it's close enough. I had originally, about 6 months ago, started building this fuselage, and I built the crutch, and I didn't like the crutch. It's I undercut it. You'll notice it's undercut so the tank can go up, because I wasn't going to use aluminum pads, and I got to looking at this and thinking that would not be good, because like I said, this is a customer airplane, and I don't want the nose to fly off of it. My airplane wouldn't much matter, but I'll throw that out. So now we'll do the other side. Only problem with that is there's a step there. these are side exhaust airplanes I've been building, and every one that I do, it has a slight, I broke it, oh, it's okay. Has a slight step in it. That's where the muffler goes. Now you're thinking, well, he broke it. What a terrible thing. Nah, it don't matter because I had it cut there because that's where it separates to put the thing together anyway. I'll tack it back together while I shape the fuselage, but it really does not matter. I'd really like to make some type of hangout where we can, some guys don't have anybody to build with or whatever. I guess I could announce this on Stunhanger. So I'll do that right now. Okay. Let's see if that gets us any more viewers. So let's tack this back together where it broke. And I'll show you why. Come on. I don't have any kicker. Now this airplane, because it's really oval shape, it has stringers all the way back. So I guess we'll cut up some stringers. And they were 1/8 inch. So I got some scrap here, scrap 1/8 inch pieces. And we'll get our cutter here. And I had already cut up some of these bulkheads. I guess they're 1/8 by 1/4. Okay, that's the right size there. And you're close. And once I get all this straightened out, we can cut the fuselage in half again like I normally do. But I want it to have some structure while I'm putting this together, so tack these on. Remember, somebody might see this, so you gotta make it nice inside. Yep, sickness. I I never thought that I would, come to that stage, but I was warned. So, whenever you're going cross grain on trying to cut wood, don't try to cut it with a knife. Cut it with a saw. A lot cleaner. So I just take an X-Acto saw. Oh, we got it glued to the bench here. So I'm going to have to drill those holes for that motor mount off camera before we mount it here. But I just kind of want to give you a rundown on how fast it really is to build a fuselage. It doesn't take months to do. I'll have this formed and shaped today. So as soon as I get the wing covered, which will probably be later today, I can start putting it together. More better. Now that's kind of crucial what I just did there. Made that flat, because when you glue on the bottom and you glue on the top, flat and square is good. Otherwise you'll have a gap. So that's one half. Yep. So you notice that if you've been watching me build or whatever, when I build something, I try to make it fit exact. And the reason for that is when it comes time for finishing, there's not a whole lot of gaps to fill. Things are less lighter because you use less glue. And it's not that difficult. Oh, I gotta take the trash out. If I don't, I won't have there won't be any place to put it. I was gonna go to the post office today, but I got the dope coming tomorrow from Wicks, so I will go over tomorrow and pick everything up. And Joe Daly, if you're watching, I haven't picked up the bell crank yet. As soon as I pick it up, I'll send you a message. Nobody in the chat room. I don't even know if anybody's watching. Yeah, turn this down some more. Listening to all this political stuff, I'm a little concerned about our country, that's for sure. All I can say is there better not be any funny business. Now what did I do? There it is. I always take the square. Let me back this out some. back it out a little more. There we go. I always take the square and square everything up with sandpaper. So we got the square here. Take the sanding block. Make sure you do it from the datum line too, because if you do it from the tail line, you'll end up with a crooked tail post. With a nice clean edge like that, the rudder fits with a minimal amount of putty. That. Do it on the datum line, so from this side here. Now, I want to do this fuselage, but I got to do the motor mount pads first. I also need a firewall before I can go any farther, so I can have something to clamp to. So we're building it on glass, you know it's straight. Here's my firewall. Let's see, is this not quite tall enough? So I want to make a new firewall. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe this was a because the crutch was different on the other one. But we got to make a new firewall. And I don't want to do it out of that. I want to do it out of this. So I didn't use a light ply. Back in the old days, we used, 7-ply. But there's really no need for it. So we're gonna make this cut. I'll cut it on the table saw. I never build a kit. I just never do. And I can build scratch basically as fast as you can build a kit with better results, I think. So we got a new firewall, and I'll cut in some notches here. And we're going to use the saw here instead of trying to cut it on the table saw. I sure hope this video saves, because I've been having some really strange luck with YouTube not saving my streams. I don't have it set to save the file either. So when you cut this, leave the line on, because we can always file it, but we want it to fit very tight. So this should fit perfect. And it does. See that? Very good fit, because we left the line on. So, a little bit of glue right there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to epoxy this on. I don't normally glue all this business together, so we'll do it my normal way. I don't want to get out of sync. I'm also going to need a 1/2-inch piece for up here for the firewall by the nose behind the motor. I don't put a firewall in these anymore. You know, the construction methods have changed so much for me from the 60s to now. It's ridiculous. If you look at construction of the 60s, let's say a green box Nobler or a Smoothie or Thunderbird or something like that, you'll find that they had a firewall and the tube stuck through the firewall, and they had, you know, a box and break. You don't need all that crap. So things have changed. And this makes the tank easy to get in and out, and you don't have a whole lot of problems. And we kind of want this to fit tight. Not quite that tight, but we'll get it here. A couple of swipes with the sander. Take a 64th off. Right here is the difference between building a good airplane and a so-so airplane. See, that fit in there perfect now. So, we'll glue both those ends on there. My 2-hour fuselage. So, put the good side this way. Make sure you get this glued on the right way. If you don't, you're sunk. Another piece of wax paper. I go through a lot of wax paper. So, I need paper towel. And I want to make sure this is square. Now, because I cut that on a table saw, we know it's square this way. I've got my square there holding it while it's drying, like a magnetic welder's square. Wipe the glue off. Let's see, I want to raise it up because I don't want to have to sand on the inside. God. Think of a couple popsicle sticks here. I'm going to have to get some more sticks. And I'll explain in a second here why I raised it up off the wax paper. This piece here was slightly thicker than a 1/2 inch by a few thousandths. Does it matter? Probably not. But by raising it up off the bench and pushing it down so it's flush here, I'll be able to sand it on this and make it perfect on the other side. And as soon as this glue dries, I'll show you why. I had a friend that I haven't seen in a while that was always told me that it would become like this, where everything has to be just so. I mean, it does, but I'm not as bad as he is. Close enough is close enough. We don't have to make it absolutely perfect. So we got 3 watching now. Type in the chat box. Let me know what's going on. Once this video is done uploading, I don't know how long we've been on here, but it kind of shows you how long it takes to actually build a fuselage or a wing or whatever. Not long. So while that's drying, we'll go ahead and sand this. This is the stabilizer for the Continental. It's got 2 coats of dope on it. .320, just kind of sand or smooth. You can hear it. The sound changes when you're sanding. You can hear that it's cutting, and then it quits cutting. Well, when that sound lightens up and goes away, it's done sand. You don't need to sand anymore. What we're trying to do is fill the grain, get it ready for the tissue, so that it takes less dope to make a nice finish. So this is the 3rd coat, so this is ready to, after this coat dries, be ready to tissue and ready for install of the horn, and then we can put it in the fuselage we're building. So this is kind of all about time management. How do you, people ask, how do you build these airplanes so quick? Well, first off, there is no magic pill. You have to stand at the bench for many hours. And second off, you're going to have to be doping. So why would you wait till the end of the airplane to start? Because then it's just a process. So if I'm doing this piece is ready to be done. The wing obviously has 2 coats of dope on it. We're going to, dope it, set it aside while it's drying, be building the fuselage, and when I'm done building the fuselage, I can install it. Pretty simple. So there's that. Now I explained to you why I raised it up on 2 popsicle sticks. if you were here, you'd be able to see that this is up 32nd of an inch. Well, we don't want that 32nd of an inch. It would be very hard to sand it on this side because I have the firewall there. So I push it up till it's flat on the other side and just sand it right off. Done. Perfect. So what I think I'm going to do, I need to do those metal pads. If you guys want to sit, there's going to be some dead air here because I'm going to have to go in and the other room and drill holes on a drill press. So I think I'm going to shut the stream off, drill the holes, get these mounted, and then we'll come back later on this afternoon and I'll put this fuselage together. And the way I'm going to do that, when I went to Rodax, I picked out a real nice piece of wood. And we'll just draw a center line on this baby and build it right on top of the top block. I'll carve it to shape and we'll be good to go. Now on this particular airplane, because it is a customer airplane, I'm not going to be doing the pilot. I'm just going to be carving the canopy, and that's going to be kind of a challenge for me because I've never carved a bubble canopy, but I'm sure I could do it. So I'm going to kill the stream. I'll be back in an hour or so after I get the after things, drilled. We ran an hour straight till I see you again. Pat Lyons. Morning, Mark. See ya. Hey, now there's more people back, but I'm getting ready to turn the stream off. What's the story here? I'm going to take a break for about an hour. I'm going to drill these and get something to eat. Been running about an hour. I'll drill these holes and then we'll come back and I'll put this fuselage together. Not a big deal. So check back around, let's make it 1 o'clock Central Time. That's 2 hours. And I'll be back online and we'll finish up this fuselage. So see you in a bit.